I recently purchased the 17 to 28 millimeter 2.8 for the Nikon Z system. The reason I purchased this lens is because I wanted something like a 15 to 35, but unfortunately Nikon does not offer that specific lens, because that would definitely fill a gap, because I do have a 35 to 150 that I'm shooting on right now, but it is nice to have the 17 to 28. 28 is definitely probably my favorite focal length, but I love to shoot wide things, and this gives me so many options whenever I'm trying to document weddings or any other type of photography that I do, because I do love to shoot wide. It's fantastic. So I'm just gonna hop in and go over my thoughts of this lens, and maybe you can decide if it's for you or not. All right, so as you see, the 17 to 28 is actually very nice on the Z6iii that I'm currently using. I also have the Z8 that I'm shooting on now, and once you put it on there, it does feel a little bit small on that, and it doesn't really, in my opinion, feel like such a professional grade lens, but the optics are definitely professional. The corners are sharp all the way around, and the center sharpness is great as well. From 17 to 28, and the lines are very straight considering it is a wide angle lens. The barrel on it is pretty thick for this lens, so it's easy to zoom. Everything is just right there, it's perfect. There is no focus ring on this, but we do have a ring here that can be adjustable to any other controls that you want, such as ISO or aperture, if that's something that you would want to do. There's several controls that you can do. One thing that I dislike about it is the fact that it does not have any clicks, and recently Viltrox released a lens quite like this, the 135, that has one of these, and it's clicked and declicked, and if this was clicked, I would definitely use it. But since it's not clicked, I will not use it at all, because I've found myself shooting and I would accidentally bump it and change my aperture. So I really wish I would fix that in the future iterations of these lenses that have these control rings on them. Overall, the build of this lens, it doesn't feel like a premium lens in my opinion. It feels a little plasticky, but it is a very good plastic. And I think what Nikon's done with a lot of their lenses is try to make them as light as possible and as small as possible. And they did a really good job with this lens doing that. One of my favorite things of the lens is actually internally zooming, so your lens doesn't grow any weight towards the front or the back. So you can easily put this on a gimbal if you want to and shoot it that way and not have to worry about it falling forward and having to recalibrate your gimbal. I think that's always a great thing, and honestly, in my opinion, I also think it helps with dust and weather resistant, which this is. It says on the website that it is dust and weather resistant, but they can't guarantee anything, which I don't know if they're just saying that to cover their asses or if it's not as good as some other ones are. One of the things that really catches me with this particular lens is how close you can actually get to your subject with it. Now, I'm not sure what the minimal focus distance is, but it is very close. If I go to this keyboard that I have here, I can almost touch the lens hood to the subject. That's how close you can get. And it's focusing right now, which is insane. I love when something is very close to focus. I think that really pushes the way that you can be creative with a lens. So like if you were looking for a lens and you wanted to be a little bit different with portraiture or landscape, I think this would be a really good lens for you. I think that a lot of people buy, 35 millimeters or 50 millimeters whenever they are shooting portraits, and I believe that that's a really, really good rule to follow. However, if you want to differentiate yourself from other people, don't be scared to go wide, because you can show so much more of the story. I shot a wedding recently and I took only black and white photos, as you see, and I actually loved shooting with this. And the black and whites that come out of the Nikons, superb. I mean, I've shot so many cameras. If you watch this channel, you know that I've been through a million of them. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so, because if you are interested in cameras and all the things that they do, you should definitely subscribe to the channel, because it does help me feel better about myself when people subscribe and comment. So thank you very much. And black and white on the Z6iii and the Z8 are spectacular. So doing that whole entire wedding in black and white was phenomenal. And these photos, I think, are pretty good considering I was using the 17 to 28. I just really want to open people's minds to using something wide like this. If you're not comfortable shooting wide, then this probably isn't the lens for you, but if you want to get comfortable shooting wide, this would be a great lens. And it's not an S lens, so it is a bit cheaper than what you would expect from an S lens lineup, such as the 14 to 24 2.8. And yes, this is a 2.8 as well. It just doesn't go as wide as 14. That is an S-line lens, so it's a bit more expensive. Another thing is it has a 67mm filter thread, which is great because I feel like so many lenses out there do have a 67mm filter thread, and that's something you'll probably just have like laying around. So it's nice to have that, especially if you're shooting video, you're throwing this thing on a gimbal, 67mm filter thread is fantastic. With this lens, it does have an STM motor, which is fantastic because it doesn't make a lot of noise and it's super, super fast. The autofocus on this is lightning, but also whenever you're using a wider angle lens, usually the autofocus tends to be a little bit faster. I guess because it doesn't have such shallow depth of field because it is so wide, so it's easier to catch its subjects. But just going from one thing to the other is super, super fast, and that's something that's really important to me, especially if you're doing video. You don't hear a motor at all, and whenever you're shooting photos, it's just nice to have something really quick, and this, especially on these two cameras, is blazing fast. You definitely won't see any chromatic aberration from this lens because they did put the super ED glass on it to knock those out. So that's something that people really care about out there. I personally don't really mind. Sometimes I buy lenses specifically for the characteristics that they have, and a lot of the cool lenses that I like do have chromatic aberration, but that's something that I can fix in post. But this is something that you don't have to worry about with this particular lens. So overall, the 17 to 28, my first impressions really, I mean, I haven't had this thing very long, but I just wanted to let people know that I have it. I'm gonna continue to use it. This is my second body, my second lens, and I will not be taking this lens off for quite a while, but it's great for what it is. 17 to 28 covers a very nice spectrum, and you can get really unique shots if you want to. And like I said before, if you want something that is going to push you to be comfortable with wide angle lenses, this is gonna be a really great one to start with. I always tell people that primes are really good because you're stuck at a focal length. And I think if you're coming from a prime to this, it's gonna be really easy to pick up. But if you're not shooting a prime that's wide, I think it might be a little bit tougher for you, in my personal opinion. Yes, overall, this is probably like an 8 out of 10 because of the clickless ring that doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's so finicky and easy to turn. And the fact that it is kind of plasticky feeling, but come here and tell me what you think about this. Well, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what it's made of, but it feels like, I don't know, it's so light too. That's another good thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, when I first picked it up, when you got it, like, I thought it feels like a Viltrox lens.
Yeah.
Almost. You know, it's, yeah, I mean, it's plasticky, but I mean, if you don't want to carry around a lot of weight, I think it's good.
Yeah. It is a little plasticky. I don't know what material that is. It doesn't say on the website what it's made out of. It says the Nikon is primarily constructed of plastic. This allows lightweight compact while also contributing to less expensive fill compared to the lenses with metal constructions. The lens itself contains 13 elements in 11 groups, including the ED elements that I was talking about earlier. Anyways, it is plastic, that's for sure, and that's kind of a downfall of it, but optically, it's great. So if you're looking for a really good lens that's unique that you can throw in your bag and have something that's gonna give you a different perspective throughout your wedding days or a travel lens, this would be great. So yeah, anyways, this is my first impressions of this. I've only done like 5, 6, 7, or 8 shoots with this. So I'm not super well versed in it. I just wanted to hop on here and let you guys know what I had going on. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and until next time, peace. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram because that's where all of my updated photos are. If you want to come over there and bug me about what I'm working with, what I'm shooting, I will definitely message you back. I try to message everybody back, and make sure you comment below because this is a community, and this is how I grow the community, is to talk to people, and this is why I do YouTube videos. I love doing them, and I love to talk to people. I think it's great. So anyways, appreciate it.